General Hospital. Secrets, confrontations, and turning points shake Port Charles. In a week where tensions flare and long-buried emotions rise to the surface, Port Charles finds itself caught in a swirl of revelations, shifting loyalties, and emotional reckonings. As summer intensifies, so do the dramas that unravel behind closed doors and out in the open. From frantic responses to chilling crime scenes to heart-to-heart conversations that could change everything, this week on General Hospital tests the emotional limits of some of the town's most tightly wounded residents. It begins with sirens slicing through the early morning silence. A sudden act of violence pulls Anna and Chase away from their respective worries and throws them into the chaos of a fresh crime scene. The air is thick with urgency as investigators cordon off the perimeter and medical personnel rush to aid the wounded. Anna, now more seasoned than ever, knows this isn't a random act. It has the markings of precision and purpose. Her instincts scream that someone is sending a message, and this time, it may hit closer to home than she dares to admit. Chase, equally shaken, is caught between his responsibilities as a detective and his deepening personal connections to those potentially involved. The questions pile up fast, but answers are few, and both know they're chasing a ghost hiding in plain sight. While the investigation unfolds, Alexis is drawn into a battle of wits and control at Windermere. Determined to uncover the motivations behind the growing number of calculated threats surrounding the Corinthos and Davis families, Alexis demands an audience with Jens Sidwell. Once considered an enigmatic figure orbiting the legal and financial elite, Sidwell has recently emerged as a name whispered with caution among those watching Port Charles's escalating tensions. Alexis arrives at Windermere not as a mother or editor, but as a woman who has survived too many manipulations to tolerate another. Sidwell, ever the polished strategist, greets her with cool detachment. Their conversation is more of a chess match than a dialogue. Alexis presses him about recent disturbances, the sudden fire at Charlie's pub, and the veiled threats pointed toward her daughter Christina. Sidwell, carefully guarded, neither confirms nor denies involvement. Yet Alexis leaves more convinced than ever that he knows more than he's letting on, and she's determined to make him slip. Meanwhile, Michael's facade of composure begins to crack. After weeks of trying to carry the weight of too many secrets, he finds solace in the most unexpected of places, a quiet afternoon with Sasha. The woman who has walked her own path through pain, loss, and redemption sees through Michael's carefully constructed armor. In a moment that feels both tender and raw, Michael opens up. He confesses his growing doubts, not just about his role as a father, but about the person he's become since stepping into the Newman legacy left behind by his father. Sasha listens, not to advise, but to understand. Her empathy is not pity, it's recognition. And as Michael speaks, he realizes how much he's missed having someone who truly listens without judgment. Their conversation doesn't promise resolutions, but it offers a moment of peace, a rare and necessary gift. Elsewhere in Port Charles, another dynamic begins to shift as Brennan finally draws a line in the sand with Jocelyn. Their once flirtatious and free-spirited interactions take on a heavier tone as Brennan acknowledges the complexity of their evolving connection. Jocelyn, passionate and relentless in her pursuits, pushes for more clarity, more involvement, more truth. But Brennan, wary of dragging her into the shadows of his mysterious past, sets firm boundaries. He tells her plainly that whatever path she's envisioning for them must be paused, if not abandoned entirely. For someone as headstrong as Jocelyn, the word no rarely registers without resistance. But in Brennan's eyes, she sees something different: fear, maybe, or a deep-seated knowledge that proximity to him could cost her everything. It's a protective gesture she may not appreciate now, but in time, she might understand as one of love cloaked in restraint. And amid the chaos, Molly feels something she hasn't in a long time: relief. After the uncertainty surrounding Christina's safety and the disorienting questions about her own future with TJ, something finally aligns. The fire at Charlie's pub, though terrifying, has forged a new sense of clarity in Molly. She sees the preciousness of time, of people, and of the delicate balance between independence and interdependence. The fractures in her relationship with TJ don't feel like failures anymore, but growing pains, necessary lessons that may help them rebuild stronger foundations. For the first time in weeks, she breathes easily, not because everything is perfect, but because she's no longer pretending everything is fine when it's not. Back at the crime scene, as daylight fades and evidence bags pile up, Anna makes a chilling discovery, one that could tie back to past enemies and ignite a much deeper investigation. It's a photograph, crumpled and partially burned, of someone she hasn't seen in years, someone presumed dead. Chase, standing beside her, watches the color drain from her face and knows in that moment that their lives are about to change. The lines between justice and vengeance, between truth and secrecy, blur more with each passing hour in Port Charles. What was once considered safe is now in question. And as these stories unfold, some whispered in private, others screamed across crime scenes, the residents of this town must confront not just those who wish to harm them, but the ghosts they carry inside. For in General Hospital, the past is never buried, and every secret has a cost.